much socialization is enough or too much? I mean, why are we buying this lie that the only socialization that is enough is being in a school all day long? Mm-hmm. That is such a lie. There's nothing to support this.
Welcome to Classical Etc. You're in the studio with Memoria Press.
Let's get the show started.
No,
let's get the show started.
Reading.
Hey, let's get the show started.
Okay.
That way,
it's
going to be live.
Ask Kathy what she's reading first, okay?
Will do. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Classical Etc. I'm Jessica Aboud, and we've got Paul, Tanya, and Mrs. Kathy Becker with us this afternoon. Kathy, welcome back.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Great to be here.
Yeah. Kathy, you've been on the show several times. You lead our schools division.
Hang on just a minute. This is going to bother her.
Oh, she's got to fix me.
That's helpful.
Okay. Are we good?
Sorry. Yes.
We're good.
I really want to make a comment about Judi Dench, but I'm trying to hold my tongue.
I just know when she watches it back, she's going to be like, why didn't they fix my jacket?
You just tell you that? Yes, just this morning.
You are so regal. Wow.
Yes, they do continually. At the gas station last week, on a plane, everywhere I go.
Could you ever fake it? Do you ever just start talking
I'm
in
at
British?
a point where this last one at the gas station, I just wanted to say to him, oh, yes, she's my auntie. Yeah. And right. I was going to burst into, the owl and the pussycat went to sea and the whole thing, which she recites so beautifully. But I held myself back.
I wonder if
I think you could do it just as well.
It's hysterical. I know. I see it.
Yes, you
can't unsee it.
Thank you. I don't know. Is it? Thank you.
How long have you known Kathy?
Is she like 85?
6-7 years?
I don't. Yeah. So there we are. Then I've had people say, in her earlier movies, and I'm thinking, and are you covering?
Not to the fact.
How are we working with this?
Yeah. Backpedaling a little bit.
Yes.
Wow. Well, that's majestic. She's majestic.
Well, if I can be majestic, I will claim it. If I can be a dame, I will claim it.
I think you should. That's exactly right. Woof. All right. Well, Kathy, you lead our schools division, which makes you an incredibly busy woman. You travel quite a bit. You have people all over the country that you're consulting with and leading in schools. Mm-hmm. What's one of your projects right now?
Right now, we are polishing up, and this is really for the Classical Latin School Association / schools division, because we work with schools. We are polishing up all our teacher certification programs and making sure they're available so administrators can have help in educating their teachers and helping their teachers to be equipped.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I always learn one more thing almost every week that the schools division provides to schools. Mm-hmm. It is almost endless, the ways that you resource people. One of the teacher certifications.
Teacher certification.
The books and guides, all the ways that you help administrators and teachers.
Yes. So our job is to support schools so that they can be successful in their work. Yeah. We are there for them.
Yeah.
Whatever they need, we want to be there. We want to hand it to them.
Wonderful. Well, I've been told I should ask you first what you're reading.
Yeah, I guess she looked at my notes, and actually what I read recently, you were peeking, was Elizabeth Gouge. Is that how we pronounce it? Gouge? Mm-hmm. Okay, because it's British.
I pronounced it wrong once, too.
I read,
people corrected me on the podcast email.
Yeah, I was afraid to even say it. I thought, this will be wrong. So, Gouge, not nearly as nice sounding. I haven't read that one. Okay, so my daughter gave me a collection of books for the calendar year, and it was a big collection that I'm to read throughout the year.
How fun.
It was so thoughtful.
Is it like seasonal?
It was amazing.
Or what was the
calendar year, the church calendar, so you're reading something during Lent, you're reading something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all throughout the year. So these two books were in that group. One was The Dean's Watch, which was absolutely a beautiful, beautiful book. Oh,
and it's an adult book?
Yes. It was so wonderful. Oh, it was beautiful.
Okay, I'm going to read that.
Yes. And the other is this one that I've just started by Niall Williams, Time of the Child, but it looks like I've stepped into the middle of a series.
Oh, it's in the middle of a series?
Yes, because when I read the foreword, then it talked about another book in the village of Faha. And then I'm thinking this is in the middle of a series, so now I have to go back and read the other books.
So here we go.
So Irish
Here's
author.
why I looked so odd. Are you liking it?
So
Sorry,
far,
I'm writing with my
barely
left hand.
I was reading it on the plane, and
I'm reading Niall Williams, This is Happiness, which is the first one.
Okay.
And I'm reading it because Floor, I'd never heard of him, but our friend Floor recommended it to me. I am not wild about this book, but I'm 250 pages in and I keep reading. So he is a very good author, but he makes me a little crazy. The way he moves back and forth with time, and it just feels more like this stream of consciousness thing going on. And this morning I read, it was like a page and a half, because he just stops and chats with you. And about a page and a half talking about how his grandfather tells a story, which is all over the place. And he said he throws Aristotle's unities, or whatever it is that Aristotle did about order, out the window. And I thought, this is exactly how you tell a story, mister. But it is. But then all of a sudden I'll read a few paragraphs that are just beautiful. And so I just I just couldn't believe it when I saw you were reading Niall Williams.
Is it in a town? Is it in the town of Faha? Yes. So see, it's a series. And I think there are 5. And the one that this time of the child is like number 5.
Oh, you're at the end.
I didn't know. I mean, it was in my list of books.
Right.
But I don't have that experience at all. I think he walked me into this lovely little Irish village and they're in the church, and it seems like a great place to be at this point. Like he's describing the doctor and his loss and different things. And I'm good with him.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll see, but I am 250 pages in, and it is making me a little nervous it just feels like there's so much chatter. I don't know. I just want to, and he does, this is the other thing that irritates me, is he says, in imagining this conversation maybe between 2 people, that he imagines how the conversation should have gone. And you've got this whole conversation that he's made up in his head. This is a 17-year-old boy. And then you have to read later what really happened. And I'm thinking, just skip the made up one in your head. I don't need that. Can we just move in a more parallel track? But I do think he can write. I think some of that to me always feels to me like you're in some kind of creative writing class or something, you know, and you're just trying things out.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
But I just don't know what I think. But I'm interested that you're reading the last one.
Yeah, I think it's the last one he's written.
Is Electricity is Coming to Faha.
Okay.
And so it's going to change their entire lives and everything that has been set and unchanging for all these years is now. So you're seeing that change come about, which is a very interesting concept.
Yeah, but this book, The Dean's Watch,
I'm gonna read it because I love
that
her.
was a beautiful book.
What did I read? It's the dolphin. Green Dolphin.
And I haven't read that one.
Green Dolphin Street. Yeah, something like that.
I don't remember.
It's very good.
Yeah.
You should read that.
Yeah, I will. Her writing was lovely.
It is.
It was.
She's written children's
That's all I
books,
can
too.
say. It was a beautiful book.
You guys want to just go have coffee together?
I'm sorry. Okay. And I told David this had to be fast because we have a meeting at 2. So there you go.
You're not going to make it. Okay. What are you reading?
I just finished The Violent Buried Away.
Oh, did you?
By Flannery O'Connor.
Oh.
I knew that reaction was coming from
Kathy.
Kathy.
You go for that, Paul.
It was so great. It was so great.
Really?
Yes.
I was thinking about that this morning, about Flannery O'Connor, because I feel like I come from that world.
Yes. Well, and that's why Kathy doesn't understand it.
Yes, that is true. Because are you saying that's a Southern thing?
I was going to say,
it's very much a
I was
Southern
raised in the Northeast.
Yeah,
and I live in the West.
Deep South.
Yeah.
The
so I was at a conference. Someone sent me the link for his pastor who is going through all the things about Flannery O'Connor and helping people to understand her. And I have to attend that online because it's the only way it's going to happen, because she makes me sad.
Yeah.
And no.
Oh.
So I have to walk into this other place.
Yeah. The Violent Buried Away, The Call of a Prophet. It's right there.
When-
And it is the story of Jonah.
Mm.
Oh,
It is the
okay.
story of Jonah.
I love her, but I feel like I'm related to half those people.
Yeah. I mean, my
Yeah.
grandparents were similar in certain ways, but not to that degree. And so you can see Flannery O'Connor is just a difference of degree. Like it
she
is,
takes it.
it's the same, like we know these people. The degree changes.
Yes.
And so it's,
But you can recognize
Yeah.
it because
Yeah.
my grandfather didn't go quite as far as O'Connor would, but I definitely recognize that trait. That
Wow.
little bit crazy.
Yeah, it's a different place.
Mhm.
It collides with my happy world of idealism. My memories of a grandfather that I saw once a year was him sitting on the porch singing in Norwegian, Rita Rita Ronka, these songs. And it was happy. so there we go.
Not all of us got that, Kathy.
I have one more I forgot about while we're talking about books. I got this book in the mail from Amazon yesterday by Agatha Christie called The Labors of Hercules. It's a Hercule Poirot collection.
are you
He's
already that
lovely.
far in
No,
one
I
day?
haven't read it at all. But I was like, I didn't order this. I don't know. I mean, I'm a huge fan, but I don't know why I got this book. And then I found this note that says, a gift for you. Salve, Tanya. Since MP will release a set of Herculean challenges, as a fellow fan of Agatha Christie, I thought you might enjoy her version of Labores Hercules. Vale, Bonnie Graham.
How
Isn't that
sweet.
nice?
That is so nice.
I know. I'm thrilled. Thank you, Bonnie.
You get books from our listeners. I get ties.
I'd rather have books.
This
I don't know. I like that tie.
This is
That's
from
a nice
listener.
tie.
I got
that is
socks.
nice.
You did. All right. Well, let's move on to a listener question. This comes to us at the podcast inbox, podcast@memoriapress.com. If you have any burning questions, we would love to hear from you there. This is from Lindsay. Lindsay says, hello, Core 4. I so enjoy hearing all of your book recommendations. My to-be-read pile keeps growing. This question is for Tanya. Tanya, you've mentioned before that you enjoyed the book The Other Bennett Sister. Now that the show has been partially released in the US, have you watched it yet? And what did you think? I read the book at your suggestion and just watched the first 3 episodes that are out already. None of my friends in real life enjoy this type of book or show, so I'm anxious to hear someone else's thoughts. Has anybody watched the show?
I haven't watched the show. Aileen, our graphic designer, came and told me that she was watching the show, and she told me not to watch the show.
Oh, really?
She said, I know you're not going to like it because they've changed it, which she knew would irritate me. She said, really, she's the one who told me to read the book.
Mm-hmm.
She recommended the book to me, and I absolutely loved it. One of the best books I've read this year.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
so good. But then she said you should have watched the show before you read the book, because you could watch the show if you haven't read the book, and it would be great.
Mm-hmm.
And then you read the book, and the book is so much better.
Oh, okay.
So if you've read the book, I told Ailina, I said, I'll maybe wait 2 years when I've forgotten the book.
About it.
And then I'll watch the show, because I love shows like that. I would love the show, I think,
Mm-hmm.
except that she thinks it's going to irritate me because it's different. So I would like to know from Lindsay
What she thinks.
about
Yeah.
the show, if she's going to finish. Aileen's going to finish it, but she said she didn't really care as much as I do.
Is it just not accurate?
I guess
To the
they. Well, I
book,
mean,
or-
I know they have to change things, but
Sure.
for some reason, it really irritates me. I just think, you've got this author that's done this amazing job, but of course, the author sold the rights to the book, so they must not have cared, right?
Oh.
Well, no, that's not necessarily true.
Well, if you sell the rights, then they can do whatever they want, unless you, I guess, can get in the
Right,
contract that they
right.
can't.
But I would think the author still cares, because there have been famous authors who have sold the rights to be made into movies, and then afterwards they're like, "This is awful. I don't like anything about this." Right? And so I don't think you can make that assumption, but I completely agree that, like, if a movie's trying to be made about a book, or like off of a book, then they should be honoring to that book instead of saying, no, we can do it better.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like that's what's aggravating to me about that stuff.
Yeah.
I understand that you have to change it sometimes because it's a different medium,
Mm-hmm.
but that should be evident to the watcher that it was a needed change
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to just a gratuitous one that they did because they felt like it.
Especially if you change the ending.
Right.
That really irritates me if you change the ending, which we don't know about the other Bennett sister yet.
Right. Okay. Well, Lindsay, let us know what you thought of the show.
Yeah.
On to today's topic. We're actually going to answer another listener question from Abby. And I think this is one that many homeschooling parents, especially people who are probably newer to homeschooling, have heard in one form or another. So I'm going to read Abby's email and then we can dive in and help Abby. She says, I've been thoroughly convinced, mostly by this podcast, that classical education is the best education model. My only choice to acquire that education for my children is through homeschooling, as we have no classical schools near us. However, I'm surrounded by homeschooling negative Nancys who are sure that homeschooling leaves its own more important gaps than the progressive education model. Points that have been made to me where homeschooling falls short are, and then she lists a couple, socialization, the importance of classroom discussions, general lack of understanding of what a classroom environment is like, and adjusting later on to life, deadlines, group dynamics. She says, which is more important to forming the child, the educational model or the learning environment? Help me refute the naysayers.
Wow.
Well, thank you,
my
Abby, because
gosh.
that's an incredible list of questions. And I wonder if we can start with her last question first, because I think it frames up in large part our discussion today. What matters more in forming a child, the educational model or the environment?
I don't think we were made to sit in a classroom for 8 hours a day for 13 years of our life. I mean, to be fair, I mean, I work with schools all the time. I'm not trying to say schools are a bad thing. I don't think that's how we were meant to be formed. Right. And that's why for thousands of years, you had these little tiny small groups. You'd have a tutor that maybe, tutored the one family's kids, or maybe there were a few families that got together, right? You had your one room schoolhouses, like those, and that always had to fit in with life, where if it's the harvest and the kids don't come for a month. I mean, somebody was just telling me recently that they knew they went to school with a kid that every year he would miss school because he was planting tobacco. And then when they harvested tobacco, he'd miss school because he'd get tobacco poisoning every year and he'd have to recover from it. Right. Like this was just part of life. And so like for somebody to say homeschooling is bad because you don't have the experience of having to sit in a classroom for most of your day and have to answer to somebody else, that's ridiculous. I just on the face of it, I don't even know what to, I can't even give you a coherent answer on that one. But that what?
Wow.
Passionate Paul.
What?
You had words on that, but I have other words.
Go for it.
Bring them.
So this is always hard for me because a large portion of my life was spent homeschooling 6 children all the way through. And then after that, stepping into schools. So I have 2 parts of me that struggle with one another. And the people, like the homeschoolers who watch this, are very committed. They are the committed moms that are doing the thing, that are saving the country. Like they are the people who get up every morning and know this is our work for the day. However, there are many homeschoolers out there who aren't doing that and who need structure and order. So when she says here, forming the child, the educational model, the learning environment, of course, it's not either. It's both of those. But I think, and now that I work with schools, like I look at those schools and say, you need structure and order in this school. You are a mess. This needs to be tightened. This needs to be. But with homeschooling, we also need to have structure and order. On the other hand, yes, children need to run and play. I agree with you. I think we can overdo, but I don't think homeschoolers as a rule are overdoing on letting their children run and play.
That was a much more coherent response probably than the one I gave.
Yours was more passionate, I believe.
Thank you. I think that's...
Do you get points for passion? I guess.
In certain respects, at certain times. But I think you bring up a very good point, though, and this is what I think some of the naysayers don't understand is, and maybe I'm jumping the gun here, Jess, but even the conversation about, classroom learning or classroom discussion, and that's not happening. That's not happening in most classrooms.
That's true.
Right?
Yes.
Like it's probably happening more in a structured homeschool than it is in a your run-of-the-mill school, because
especially your progressive education model, which is where the negative Nancy's are coming from.
Yes.
Right. It's and that's, I would invite naysayers to go check out their local schools and ask to go through the hallways and look in the classrooms, because when I have done that for foster children we've had in our home, it was worse than I thought. And I already don't have a good impression. That stuff's not happening. And so when we talk about structure and order, I mean, what they're talking about, I mean, I remember sitting down with the principal and my wife for one of these children in our homes, and the child's mother was totally in support of this child repeating a grade, and we were trying to advocate for that. She needed to repeat the grade. And the principal was saying, well, you don't understand. Grades aren't the way that you conceive of them anymore, because we're meeting each child individually where they're supposed to be at. And so you actually have to realize this child's not at the bottom of the grade. And so they're all working on different things. Sarah, I love her to death. She just goes, that sounds like chaos. And I mean, and it is. And you go into the classroom and that's exactly what it is. There is not a structured learning environment. There's not an expectation that you're participating in a large group discussion. There's none of that happening on a regular basis.
Well, and then you have the question. In, say, kindergarten through 5 or 6, do we really need discussion, people? This is where we need foundational learning, right? Yeah. You don't have those discussions until they're a little older. Then you can begin to discuss. It's foolishness to think that a 4th grader is going to have a Socratic discussion. We are pouring in. Later on, we will talk, we will discuss. And if there's anyone opinionated, it's going to be the homeschool child. And we have co-ops all over the place. They will... And we were talking before, ballet, this, that. They have all of these things. Well, and they're getting instruction from other people. It is not this cloistered little tunnel.
And by the time that they get to, later lower school, middle school, like as a parent, you're already being pushed to get those kids out the door, right? Because they want to have their own friends. They want to be out and so when they need to be having those discussions with like age children, more than likely you're already doing that because the growth of the child is demanding that from you.
Right.
And that's what she says. She talks about socialization, and she has concerns about that homeschoolers are not learning social norms or tolerating differences or exposed to other viewpoints. And you would say there are so many different ways that your child is interacting with people that are... Oh,
yeah. Yes. I mean, I totally get it if that child doesn't leave that house ever. Yeah. That's very much a concern.
And then at that point...
unusual.
And that would be very unusual. Yeah. And that's, I was actually just listening to the story of a lady who grew up Amish, and she's like, they had 12, 15 something kids in the family. And she said across the street was a Catholic family and they had 10 kids, and we'd sneak over there and watch TV sometimes, and I'm not trying to undermine the Amish, way of life, but when you have families nearby that aren't exactly like you, which none of them are, right? Everybody's a little different. You're going to naturally have that exposure as well.
So we could even say that the average child probably generally isn't really at risk of not getting what they need socially to be prepared for the workforce or college or whatever is next for them. They understand people have different viewpoints or,
Yeah, I would say they're concerned about tolerating others' differences, exposure to other points of view. The public school child has issues with that. Well, tolerating differences, understanding other people's points of view. I mean, part of that is childhood and learning. You step into doing that as you grow older and you talk to people. My main concern with homeschooling in this present day is that our culture affirms everybody. Everybody wants to be affirmed. All the likes, all the clicks, all the things. And a homeschool mother needs to keep herself balanced, and she needs to not over-affirm her child. Because then they enter the world thinking they are pretty much the greatest thing that's ever been. And then they find out, you're kind of just like everybody else. As far as we need to be humble and learn and know we need to learn. I think that's a concern. Like this mom will do a great job.
Well,
she's concerned. She's going to grow in confidence as she teaches. It boosts her confidence. But yeah, my concern is just make sure as a homeschool mom, you do not over-affirm your child, because we live in a society of over-affirming.
I think her concern about learning societal norms and rules and tolerating others' differences, I think that to me is a scary thing for young children, that when they are thrown into an environment where everything exists and everybody does have, there could be some major differences, that they aren't really mature enough to deal with that. And so I've never understood, because this used to be a big thing when I was homeschooling. This was the thing is, well, your children aren't going to be able to participate in society. They're not going to know what it's like to be bullied, or, how to, they won't be equipped to deal with things like that. Or if somebody's using bad language and they haven't ever been exposed to that, well, why would we expose young children to that kind of stuff knowingly and willingly? Wait till they're mature enough.
And they don't have a sense of who they are to know, I'm supposed to tolerate these differences, right?
When they're little.
When they're little, because they're just going to become like the other, right? Because they don't have a sense of identity of this is who I am, and therefore this person's not like me, and I need to learn to tolerate them or learn to respect them. That comes later once they actually have an identity. And so you don't want to go throw them in a melting pot for them to figure out what their identity is. You want to help them develop a strong character and then say, okay, now there's somebody else that's not like you. You need to learn to respect that. And I just say, I'm listening to both of you all who homeschooled, and I was homeschooled. And I will say from the point of view of somebody who did not go to school until 6th grade, I went to once-a-week classes for 3rd through 5th or 6th grade. I do not recall it ever being a struggle to go, how do I act around kids?
Right.
I grew up, we had an alley behind us. There was a neighbor kid who went to public school. We'd play basketball all the time, or we, play croquet in the yard, whatever we had. And, and we had friends, right? You learn all of that stuff. And
you have friends in church.
Yeah.
It's not like if you're homeschooling, you're just like locked in a room.
Yeah. And the homeschool kids, what I'm seeing, especially in my sister's family, they're out doing stuff more than your average kid is.
Because they have the time.
There's so much available now.
There's so much available, but also hey, grandma needs help. Let's go help her, right? So you're learning that not everybody can take care of themselves. I've got to go help them, right? My 11-year-old nephew's coming over to mow the grass because Sarah normally does that, but she's not feeling well, so he's going to come do that, right? He could be studying. He probably should be studying, right? But he's learning a corporal work of mercy. Go do something for somebody else, which he would not have time if he were in school to do that.
Yeah. Yes.
And so many extracurriculars. I know at the online academy, we've got some families in some pretty rural areas, but they're ranchers or they have livestock or something like that. And so their whole entire family, kids included, are deeply embedded in the community in a lot of ways that they're so committed. We even have been able to give them some elective class credit for some of the things that one of them was, helping with the accounting for one of the 4. There's so many opportunities that families can seek out,
and you just have to make sure you find them. But I'm sure Abby is doing that. But then it's hard to listen to people judging the way you're choosing to raise your children. It's we totally agree with her that all of this is silliness, but it doesn't make it any easier to take. when you
someone
are being
is-
criticized for something that is the most important job you're ever going to do.
Definitely.
And I remember like we were generally done with school by lunchtime.
Yes,
And I think that's a very common homeschool
yeah.
experience.
because you're not
And-
doing all the extra stuff.
You're not doing all the extra stuff. You don't have to wait for 25 other kids to get their stuff in order. And so it does look from the outside that you're not educating nearly as much as they are in school.
Mhm.
The
Well, people
reality
used to
is-
call me and ask me if I would babysit for them because
remember
I
you
was
saying that.
home and I was like, we are working here.
Mhm.
Whereas we will call the neighboring homeschool family and ask to borrow their kids if one of our dogs gets out because she only goes to kids. And when we don't have kids in the house, we're like, hey, we need your kids,
You can count it as PE.
And, yeah,
Count it as recess.
That's right.
you
That's
know?
right.
And they're helpful, right? And I mean, and we actually do know that family more probably because they're around.
Right.
Mhm.
And that's I think when you look at it from a big picture perspective,
Mhm.
I mean, yes, they need to be educated academically. They need to know how to read, write, and count and do all those things that we want them to do. We want them to come out learning Latin, all of that stuff. But all of that stuff has to also be contextualized in the human person.
Yes, I agree with you. And as far as the socialization, how much socialization is enough or too much? I mean, why are we buying this lie that the only socialization that is enough is being in a school all day long?
Mhm.
That is such a lie. There's nothing to support this.
Well,
On the
all of
contrary.
this-
And so I feel like this mom is just a great mom. She wants to do the good thing. Just grow, learn, do all of those things. She will grow as a person because homeschool moms do. They just grow so much. And her children will be fine.
And just stick to your guns. Just, know that what you're doing is the very best thing that you could do for your children now. And it's nice if you've got support. And we are, we'll continue to support her. And there are other places she can get support as well. Cheryl Lowe was a big support to me.
Mhm.
When I was criticized, then I could look to her and know that what I was doing was really important and it was the right thing. And I knew it anyway, but sometimes you just need somebody to tell you that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as being, understanding what a classroom environment is like, our kids are smart. They go to a classroom for the first time. I mean, at our cottage school, sometimes these kids will be 7th, 8th, 9th grade, never been in a classroom before. They immediately understand how to act in a classroom.
Mm-hmm.
The teacher sets the rules out at the very beginning, and they don't have any trouble sitting in their desk all day with everybody else in their class.
And a student who was in, let's say, 4th grade and sat in the classroom all day long, and next year goes to 5th grade, that teacher still has to go over the rules. It doesn't matter whether you sat there in 4th grade or not, because
Every year
that's going to happen.
Mhm.
And I was thinking,
Yeah.
you have somebody who's been homeschooled all the way through senior year, and okay, you go to college, you have to sit in it, like you walk into the classroom, you see a chair, you see everybody else sitting in a chair, you sit down. It's not hard.
Mhm.
Right.
It's really not hard. And if you're going to Sunday school or if
Anything
or
like
you're
that,
going to any
yes.
kind of activity that's a group activity, it's
There
just
are
like a
rules.
classroom. And,
There are
and
rules.
as a child, you're going to be exposed to that stuff.
Yes.
What would you say though? So we've covered the fact that most kids get socialization, whether it's their faith community, whatever, sports, extracurriculars. But when it comes to the academic setting, how does she or can she create an environment where the student does have someone else to talk to, or do you know what I mean? Like group discussions,
like a
or
group discussion,
there are, right? Like she can't literally recreate a classroom
No.
setting. And there are some advantages, we would say, to a classroom setting that you can't exactly replicate. Maybe she's not trying to replicate it, but there are some things that the student just wouldn't get in the academic setting specifically.
Right.
Are there ways that she could
There are eventually. I think when they're young, it's just like Kathy said, you're not going to have a Socratic discussion, but you are going, when you're reading Charlotte's Web with a third grader, you are going to discuss the major themes in that book with that child one-on-one or even with siblings. But as they get older, I do see an advantage to finding a situation. And sometimes, I mean, for my kids, sometimes it was their youth group at church where, there were some really good discussions being led by an adult, but like the online academy, just to take a class or two is helpful because then you're with a group and hearing a discussion. I was really thankful for my kids having, like Martin, for a teacher and being able to have that, even though they were at home with me 3 days a week. It was nice to have that. There's that Vita Beata group that has just where the kids can just come together and discuss. There are all kinds of things, places now where you can get group discussion. I would not worry about it when they're really little.
Yeah.
After that, if you feel like that's an important thing that you can't do with them, I mean, I would have really struggled to read everything that they needed to read and have a discussion about it.
Yeah, I think that as they get older, and you see this a lot, homeschooling parents will reach out for helps. I'm going to someone for math. I have this tutor. That's great. You're sitting under someone else and you're learning from them. And then the school side of me wants to say, it's okay. If you're homeschooling and you're loving it and you do really well, and then you get to the upper levels and you feel like this is beyond me, it is better to save the relationship with your child and put them in a really good classical Christian school than to try to struggle through and not be able to handle that.
And I mean, my mother, it was when my oldest sister reached, I think, high school. My mother said, "I've taught you everything I know."
Yeah, and I love that. Just go ahead.
You need to go and different people jump into homeschooling for different reasons, right? And what is pretty clear with Abby is that she is homeschooling because she thinks this is the best educational environment that she can right now, right? I mean, my parents initially started because when my oldest sister went to kindergarten and she came back being belligerent towards her siblings, and like, we don't want her learning this social stuff. I mean, they were anti-socialization on that front, right?
That's right.
Which was smart, right? But that meant that once they when mom felt like she'd gotten to the point of, I've taught you everything I know, they weren't against schools.
Right.
It was about finding the right school. And so homeschooling can be for a season. It does not have to be, we start this kindergarten and we've got to go all the way through 12th grade.
But it can be all the way through.
So how
did you manage that when you were homeschooling high schoolers?
Well, for one thing, I stepped into homeschooling not from a negative perspective, but a positive. I had been reading some research and books on child development. And of course, it was the better late than early phase, all the Raymond Moore things. And so I thought, this is so beautiful. Why would we not do this? It really didn't have anything to do with the school, the public school or anything. And I actually think that's healthier because when you come to the difficult day, you're not doing it to escape reactionary. You're doing it because you're drawn to the good thing. And so you stay with the good thing. And then as they get older, of course, we lived in the West and, our boys worked on ranches in their teen years and, did those sorts of things. But yeah, you do sometimes reach out to other people. I mean, with our last two, yes, I had someone helping with math. We had a literature co-op on Fridays.
So they did have that discussion.
So they were reaching out and they were with other people. Yes, definitely.
I tried having discussions with my kids at home as a homeschool mom. They were never interested in hearing from me. They were never, it was like, I remember one time, I don't know why this is so clear, but we were talking about the Declaration of Independence and I was, going through it line by line and I was so excited and I looked up and they were both like, what are you? It was kind of like when I tried to read Tom Sawyer to them out loud and couldn't do the dialect. Sometimes it's just a fail. Sometimes it's a fail.
But I will say that I remember having conversations with my sisters and going, why is mom so passionate about X, Y, or Z? Like, we couldn't get it, But what it did communicate to us all was this is important. We don't understand it. And years later, I go back and go, that's all important to each one of us now.
Well, I hope that my children
Yes.
have recognized
we
how
picked that
important
up,
the
right?
Declaration
Yes.
of Independence is.
It is important. But the one, Kathy, you were talking about, Friday co-ops, literature, having somebody with math, you know, and just the struggle sometimes between the child saying like, I don't respect you in this field, if that makes sense, or like that external accountability. And that's one of the things that she says, adjusting later to external authority, is generally speaking, like at some point that struggle comes up, I think, with every homeschooling family, because the parent is not just the parent, but the parent is also the teacher and the grader and all of this other stuff.
Yes.
And
yes.
so-
and it's good to have those other people in there too.
And it's not
good.
that, you know, the naysayers are thinking, well, it's only ever you. And they don't realize that at some point the parent is going to be faced with this and is going to reach out to somebody else and say, hey, even reach out to the neighbor, right? Like I've got a next door neighbor that if I had kids homeschooling, I'd be like, I need you to teach music, right? Like, cause I hear you playing your trumpet for fun over there. You know, I know you were in bands, like, you know, this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like that's all it takes. But then it gives some sort of external accountability to say, I don't like it, you getting your math done isn't for me. You getting your math done is because Mr. Smith is coming here on Tuesday and he's going to expect you to have this
That
done.
is so good. I mean, I play piano. Did I teach my children piano? No. I have someone else teach that musical instrument, because you can't teach everything. You don't want to just be there all the time. They have to reach out to somebody at some point. And it's just better. It's good to bring people into your sphere, but you do that at a certain time, right? You just do that. And then when they're all grown, they give you this collection of books for the calendar year, and your life is
That's
good.
right. That
So
is
there
right.
we are.
And that's the ultimate thing, is that we know now, enough people have homeschooled long enough. We know these kids are successful adults. And they go to college, and colleges love them. You know, we used to have to be really afraid because we didn't have an official transcript. That fear is gone. We no longer have to be afraid because homeschoolers make amazing college students, and colleges love them. So, and we are hiring students that graduated from here, and they are fine. We've hired people that were homeschooled all the way through, and they make great employees. So just be confident knowing that you are doing the very best that you can for your children.
I think that's a good note to end on. With the future in mind too.
The future in mind.
To bring hopefully some peace. Well, Abby, thank you for your thoughtful questions. It was a joy to and passionately address them. That's great. And thank you, Kathy, for sitting down with us. I appreciate your time while you're
Yes,
here.
this is great to be here.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for joining us. We'll be back next time.
Thanks for joining us today on Classical Etc. by Memoria Press. If you like what you heard, please like, subscribe, or share this episode or comment. We love to hear your questions and your comments. If you want to learn more about Memoria Press, please go to memoriapress.com. This has been Classical Etc. We're so glad you joined us, and we'll see you next time.